The Polokwane Municipality faces severe service delivery infrastructure and administrative challenges. Most notably is a daily water deficit exceeding 50 million litres, which they attribute to an aging infrastructure, power failures and supply constraints. The municipality has also made ambitious applications to become Limpopo's first Metropolitan municipality, an application that is still being processed. Executive Mayor of the municipality, John Mbear, joins us now live in studio to talk about this and other related matters. Mayor, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. I want to start on with that application to become a metro municipality. Of course, the demarcation board has to apply its mind. How advanced is that process?
Firstly, good evening to you, Oliver. Good evening to the viewers at home. I think firstly, what underpin our application is two really things, because what makes the municipality to really be graded very high is the revenue, which indicative of the economic development within the municipality, as well as the population within that particular municipality. Of course, your industrialization then came into the picture. At the moment, Polokwane has already taken the first step, being that of improving its own grading, with the grading now having been improved to grade 6, which is the same grading where all the metropolitans are. And we have been improving the level of urbanization over the years. And now at 35%, obviously we need to make sure that some of our catalytic projects that are on, including the academic hospital that has been built, is almost 6 billion investment, but also related investments from the private sector. We've got a new hospital that has been built on our land. What we have done is to firstly identify catalytic projects, which amongst them is the one that I've mentioned, but there are ones that are also done by the private sector. We've also used land as some form of economic stimulant or attraction for both private sector and public sector investment, and that has been going very well, with the effect that now you've got major investments in Polokwane, particularly in the hospitality, being major hotels that are.
I want to pause that, because I want to come to that very separately, because yourself and the mayor of the province are quite ambitious about the tourism offering of the province, and I'm not sure Polokwane has the best views in Limpopo, given how beautiful the province is. But I want to speak on that separately. Let's maybe frame the question on the ambitions of becoming a metro against the backdrop of some of the service delivery failures. Are you ready to become a metro, given that Polokwane has been struggling in terms of its audit outcomes for a number of years, at least on aggregate 6 over the last 10 years have been quite worrying coming out of the Auditor General's office. More specifically, in addition to that, is that you have service delivery issues pertaining to water. We understand an upgrade was justified based on revenue, and you know, it's quite clear, the Municipal Act is quite clear on how categories of municipalities work. But being a metro gives you a lot more power and a great deal of independence. Are you ready to become that, given the service delivery challenges that exist?
Well, we are ready. Challenges exist even in metros. We have acknowledged our 55 million litres deficit on a daily basis, sometimes going up depending on the pressure of the usage of water. And that is why we've came up with the plans, and some of them are short-term. That's why we have completed the Sesho water purification plant that has got a capacity to give us 10 million litres a day. And we are in the process of also completing the Sand River North. That will give us another 18 million litres. And on the longer medium term, and also Lepelle is refurbishing its own infrastructure, because that has been major problems. And we are also looking at the national government in the long term, getting a pipeline from Dihuop to Polokwane, looking at the massive growth, which is really important for us, because the growth of the economy means that people will get more jobs, and means that the quality of life will continue to improve in Polokwane. So we are ready.
Let's talk about the economic story there, because unlike other parts of the province, let's look at the Musina-Makhado corridor, for instance, which is a special economic zone, which has industries being built around it. Polokwane has very little from an industrial perspective, at least comparatively, that it has on offer. The economic story there is that you hope people come into Polokwane, not just sending remittance back, but come in, spend money there, build homes there, and support industries. And one of the ways you envision that is through tourism. Controversially, you offered Kaizer Chiefs the opportunity to have the new Peter Mokaba Stadium as their home base. I will admit it's one of the most beautiful stadiums in the country, but that just doesn't seem to make practical sense. What is the thinking there?
Well, the thinking is that we are a logistics hub of the province. We've got various industry, the smelters and big industry that manufacture goods and services. We are also on the process of finalizing our application for the logistics SEZ around our airport. We're also having an ambitious program to have more flights into Polokwane. But also we've got Smart Vision 2030, which include us becoming officially a Metropolitan Municipality. That is why we have identified what we call catalytics project. What are the drivers that can drive the economy, and one of which is the sports tourism. And that is why we have kept our sports facilities at the international standards. We've always loved to have our three PSL clubs, being Polokwane City, Skukune and Magezi in the elite league in the country, and also competing for African glory. So we have brought Kaizer Chiefs as the most supported club.
Well, relatively.
Yes. But obviously it's also to try and get more numbers.
Yeah.
And also to make sure that while we're spending money to maintain these facilities, we do get revenue, but also when the numbers come, our hotels are fully booked, and our restaurants are doing quite well. And also the ordinary hawkers, in Polokwane, during busy weekends, they are able to earn a living, put the bread on the table. And we have also taken soccer back to the township. PSL soccer by refurbishing Sisho Stadium. But not only just about soccer. If you look at the tennis, we have upgraded our tennis courts at the Becker Street. And also in Sisho, we have upgraded. We've been building some of our facilities even in the most rural part. Recently, and this year, we'll officially open a new stadium that will name after Thabo, former Mayor Thabo Makunyane Sports Complex in the RDP section of Polokwane of the city, which is called the Stenning, which is the Ward 8 of Polokwane, which is quite a significant facility to have, particularly in the RDP section, or what normally people say informal, where we are really developing, even in the most the poorest area of the city, putting up more facilities for the residents.
What are you going to do about those audit outcomes?
In terms of the audit outcomes, notably, Polokwane has had over 120 findings when I came in as the mayor in 2021, and from the first year we have reduced them, and we have actually turned the corner from qualified audit opinion to unqualified audit opinion. We have sustained that. My strategy have always been, even when I was at Capricorn, where I obtained the first clean audit, was always to say that you maintain your unqualified audit while reducing the number of findings, including historic or inherent findings over the years. Now you've got less than 75 findings. For me, we can still do more, and that is why we're working to ensure that there is no impunity, and there are always, the level of accountability is improved, and there's consequence management within the system.
Yeah, I want to step away from governance issues for a second and perhaps speak on some political matters. Now, your name has been thrown around as contesting for the chairperson of the ANC in the province. And of course, we know that it's gearing up towards that. Regional conferences are beginning to take shape, provincial conferences, and so on. Where do you stand on that? Are you contesting to become the chairperson of the ANC in the province?
Well, the branches of the ANC have started talking, and my branch have nominated me to be the deputy chair of the ANC in the province. But for me, it is not positions that makes you a leader. I've always been within the structures of the ANC for years, and I've always learned to not lead necessarily through a position, but to lead through passion and love for the people.
So you will be contesting based on the nomination for deputy chairperson,
yes,
and you won't be contesting against Premier Poppy Ramathuba to become the chairperson?
Actually, my branch have nominated Premier Poppy Ramathuba to be the chair of the province.
Okay, and that's a nomination you happily accept?
That's the nomination. Like I said, I've always learned that it is not about an individual ambitions.
Yeah.
The ANC as an organization have seen the decline in terms of support, and even conflicts and division towards conferences have weakened us over the years. And I've always believed that I should always be a leader that it's not about being an individual ambitions. You must not sink the whole ship merely because you cannot be a captain.
Yeah.
But I've always believed in collective leadership, and whatever the branches decide, I will always accept.
Yeah, but you're going into this with a spectre looming over you, and that is the ongoing investigation by the Hawks pertaining to some allegations, at least on their part and a whistleblower's part, of corruption involving a foundation to which you're attached to and a patron of. And the Hawks sought to obtain documents from the municipality. You refused to give them access to that. They sought a court order to that effect. Do you want to perhaps clear up anything around that and perhaps give us a sense of why it is that you had refused to give access to the Hawks to the documents that they requested in their investigation?
Well, obviously, when you start an investigation, you need to make the person that you've got an allegation to be aware of such an allegations and not other institutions. Procedurally, there's been flaws in the approach, but also you do not need. Obviously, I've always been a law-abiding citizen and believe in the rule of law. So we have cooperated with the Hawks when things are done properly.
Yeah.
You know, but you should not also neglect the fact that. We've also seen law enforcement agencies being pumped up and becoming more aggressive towards political events and conferences. So
you believe the investigation in you by the Hawks is politically motivated?
How many politicians in South Africa have got foundations? How are those foundations running? And I've always made the bank statements and everything available if there is any investigation, so that I will always cooperate with law enforcement. But I will always argue that injustice somewhere is the threat to justice everywhere, as Martin Luther King says.
Yeah. So, I mean, you raise an important question, how many politicians have foundations? And that seems to be one of the points. But the point that's being made, at least by the whistleblower on their account, is that your foundation in particular did business with the state, or at least received money, or money was funneled through it that was state money, whether in the city of Polokwane or any other state functionaries. Is there any sort of truth to that?
Not at all. The foundation has got various methods to use to raise money, one of which we've got a marathon, which is one of our flagship program, where Makoro Village Marathon, that is running through my villages, you know, giving people an opportunity to see this beautiful area of Limpopo on the foot step of the Volkberg Mountain. runners all over South Africa, and some coming outside South Africa have been running that marathon over the past 3-4 years. And one of which is also that we've got a Magoro Music Festival that we do. We partner obviously with a private sector company to offer hospitality, and those companies plow back. We also get the revenue out of that. People book at CompuTicket to get their seats and enjoy the hospitality. And obviously, Oliver, I would not check who buy the tickets from CompuTicket. It is important that at the end of the day, what is it is an offering to the public. And over and above that, if there's any transaction where the foundation have received money from any service provider, I check the statement, there's not a single. We will get revenue from Polokwane Athletics Club from the proceeds of the marathon. If there is any break, even giving us an opportunity to earn something out of that. We'll also get proceeds from CompuTicket if people buy tickets in numbers and enjoy the hospitality of the music festival. It unearths talent. Limpopo today, we've got talent. Limpopo as one of the music of Bolobedu, and many other artists have come out from these initiatives, and today they are household names and popular artists in South Africa and across our borders. And we believe that such should continue to unearth their talent and make sure that the young people can move away from the social ills and showcase their talent. We've got the top 16 soccer tournament that is also on, which will take place again this March from the 7th to the 14th, where clubs from villages, from Seshego, from Butogwa, Slale All Stars, Slale Happy Fighters, which are the teams from my own village, which has seen the likes of Cassius Mailula, who come from one of the clubs.
If the work, just maybe last question, if the work of the foundation and its partners is as linear as you describe it to be, why did the Hawks have to seek a court order to get access to the documents? I mean, surely you've got nothing to hide if it's as linear as that. It would have been no issue. However procedurally motivated you think the investigation may have been to make available the necessary documents that the Hawks had sought after.
When things are done properly, those documents were made available. There was never a situation whereby, remember at that time people were saying there's an investigation about tender irregularities. Even the AG had to do extraordinary investigations and found nothing out of whatever people were saying about tender frauds and so forth. I'll be worried if that now turned out to be something else. But as far as I know, we've always been available, and we believe that everything is above board with regard to the how the foundation is run. Is a social entity, and we believe that it is doing as per the purpose of this entity. Yeah,
and I have to get this on record as I let you go. And this is very important that you put it on record.
Yes.
The three teams that come out of Polokwane, which one do you actually put your weight behind when it's time to get on the pitch? Many would assume it's Sekhukhune United. My guess is in the PSL, their third year now. Who do you actually support there?
I support all the...
No, that's not an acceptable answer.
No, Oliver, let me say this. As a mayor of Polokwane, I'm in a business of using the facility to stimulate the economy of Polokwane. And for me, my heart with Magezi, Sekhukhune, Polokwane City. And we want them to stay, because as they stay, these big clubs in Gauteng, they will not just wake up and go to Polokwane. They are going to Polokwane because they play those three clubs. And for me, I've got a responsibility to make sure that the facilities are working to stimulate the local economy. And I'm happy that Sekhukhune is performing very well. And I'm hopeful that, and Polokwane also is doing very well. And I'm hopeful that just like last year, Whoever comes to the slaughterhouse in Seshego will lose points, and Magezi will still be in the elite league come next year.
We're going to have to leave it there. Hopefully you'll give me the actual answer of the record after this interview. But thank you so much for coming through. Really do appreciate it. That is the mayor of Polokwane, that is Mayor John Mpebe.